Hey everybody, hello, Dr. Flight here. It's so good to be touching base with you. This will be a video that we used to focus on purpose-led or conscious marketing. So you'll hear these two different terms and you can use them more or less interchangeably as you read textbook entries and see different elements on the internet that would refer to this. So I'll use both these terms together. But purpose-led marketing, conscious marketing, happens when a firm has a vision for its brand that is strategically aligned with socially grounded principles. So that's a definition. The brand essentially becomes an activist for a purpose, and that's kind of used in some different texts and locations where we think of the brand as playing a personified role. And this is something you're going to hear from time to time, that when we do branding, brands are something that have a personality sometimes. A lot of times, it's one of the things we try to do. We try to create a image and a kind of concept for a brand where the brand takes on a personality and life of its own. Now, this is really important because when people look at brands, one of the things that we do is that we incorporate a brand into our image, and we look to have brands reflect our image and be a part of our lives. We do this with brands much more than we do this with companies or with products or other things. So you can think maybe of some real iconic brands that have existed, like Coca-Cola, Marlboro, some different um, like the Jolly Green Giant, different characters that are focused on brands, Ronald McDonald and the McDonald's. These are all brands that play a role beyond just being a product or a service. It's a bigger thing than we have that's associated with us. So having that brand then be a social activist while also representing a product is kind of where we go when we start talking about purpose-led marketing. Okay, so this last quote, the italicized part, is from another book. It's called Path to Purpose. And it talks about purpose-led or conscious, this idea of conscious marketing. So purpose-led marketing expresses a stronger motivation, being purpose-led, for a firm's existence and for a brand's existence too. It doesn't just exist to turn a profit. It in its purpose for existence, there is a social component. Um, like, yeah, our purpose might be to provide a need, provide a solution for a need that's out there, but it might also be to provide a solution for a social element too. It may be provide a solution for or an innovative solution or innovation or things like that. So being purpose-led is bigger than just providing for a need or a want. If the way a company does business is in conflict with its purpose, then a purpose-led firm will change the way it does business, even if it means less profit. So, if you have two different purposes and they're in conflict with each other, a purpose-led team or brand or company will follow the purpose as opposed to the profit first. And that's a conscientious, that's kind of like a commitment that's being made. Okay, now this is slightly different and may be considered a little bit different from corporate social responsibility because it has a deeper meaning. And these examples and this kind of idea of CSR versus conscientious marketing is really defined by the depth and the kind of thing that's going on. When you think of CSR is a program that a company adopts. So it's kind of like a way to do things, right? So the way we're going to do things is we're going to follow corporate social responsibility to do things. And conscious marketing and purpose-led branding and business operating, um, it's not something that we're going to do as an operational thing. It's part of our DNA. It's the reason why we exist. Not we're going to do it, because it helps us, kind of operationally. We're going to do it because it is us. It's part of who we are. So when we do CSR, and again, you can kind of read along here, you may want to pause this and look at these kind of distinctions because they're real nuanced and you might need to look at it for a little bit. But CSR is an independent, it's independent of the corporate purpose of the culture or the culture. So it's an activity that we do. So you set the agenda of the company, the purpose of the company, and then you do CSR. In conscious marketing, the purpose is the company. It's the purpose is the culture that the culture is the purpose, I guess, of the organization. In CSR, it's more of a mechanical thing where there are check boxes. We do this, we do this, we do this. We'll be doing CSR. In conscious marketing, purpose-led marketing, it's a holistic, more of a holistic, more of an overall arching kind of ethos, I guess, is in terms of what we do. Again, CSR is typically grounded in business operations. So like, how can we apply CSR to supply chain? How can we apply CSR to our purchasing habits and raw material acquisitions? How can we apply CSR to human resources? Right, so those are all kind of like applications of CSR in a business model. When we talk about conscious marketing or conscious-led organizations, it's not CSR applying to something. It's how the business operations can operate within the context of the purpose. So it's kind of flipped around. We don't apply the purpose to the practice. We apply the practice to the purpose. It's flipped around, kind of seen like that. And again, at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is we're trying to weave our organization into the life, into the culture, into the kind of like way people live. And so that's a big distinction again in kind of how we think of purpose-led versus CSR. All right, so key conscious marketing stakeholders. There are lots of stakeholders. And again, I didn't say shareholders, I said stakeholders. Stakeholders are people and organizations that interact with the focal organization, and they play a role and they have something to do with that focal, that main thing. So here we have 4 different sort of groups, if you will: employees, customers, the marketplace, and society. And so we'll look a little bit at some of these and just kind of give some examples of how we, kind of could play this out as a purpose-led organization. With employees, we think about human resources. So safe working environments, making sure our employees are healthy and happy and they're not going to get hurt at work. It's basically what we're thinking about. But beyond that, we want people to be kind of like mentally happy and fulfilled. So it's not that the job pays a paycheck, but what it may also do is the job may give you a freedom to do the things that you otherwise want to do as well, like raise a family or travel or learn and aspire. If a job can help you do and achieve other goals in life, then that's more holistic, right? It's a bigger thing than just that. So being an organization that deals with social issues that are important to the individuals is just as important as a safe environment to be able to work in. And there's an endless supply of different opportunities. REI is a company that's really demonstrated a lot of conscious marketing. REI is an outdoor equipment and clothing company. It's actually a club that people can join. And they close and they're not open for their employees on Black Friday, which is the biggest sales day of the year for a retailer. But the idea is, well, look, we can make profit all year round. We can sell products all year round. We want you as the employee to do family things and have that well-being to achieve those goals that you might have, like from a family thing, type of a deal. So lots of things we can do there. Certainly with customers, an important thing we think about is how customers interact with our products, and how we can not only fulfill the need that they have, like the direct need of buying our product, but we can fulfill other needs too of satisfaction and different things like that. So if a company is active in issues that the customers are active in, then they're going to see lots of positive outcomes. And so we know that already, that we can use or charities or social events to build awareness for our brand, but also lead to profit oriented outcomes, but then also loyalty and things like that. So getting involved with what the customers are interested in and being involved in those speaks more to adding value in this value proposition than just simply the product does, right? And only the product. Okay, marketplace. We have two other things here. We have marketplace as well. So the marketplace can be a very broad term. And so one way I want you to think about marketplace is when we have a marketplace, we have buyers and sellers coming together. And so we can impact how the marketplace operates. So for instance, if we're a pretty successful brand, and we decide that we're going to do environmental packaging and we're going to commit certain profits to environmental causes and things like that, then in the marketplace, the customer sees that and they come to expect that activity not only from us, but also perhaps from our competitors. So if we're big enough in that space, what we do could actually put pressure on competitors to follow suit and do the same thing. We see this a lot right now with a lot of social equity and social justice like causes, where one company will be really proactive and outgoing in social justice like issues, and when their competitor doesn't isn't quite so active, then like the difference between the two companies is kind of played out in the public's eye, and the competitor really looks like they're behind. So it kind of forces them to do what the first company is kind of all about. So industry norms, the norm of doing business for a particular product and product category can actually be shifted by the impact of being purpose led. Okay, so last one, society. And society. So again, we can go back to this idea of active versus passive participation in causes, but there are big, broad causes that are human in nature, and you might, always go to this environmental stuff, and that's fine, but human trafficking, child labor, animal welfare, the living conditions of not just our employees and all, right, but also our customers and those around us, people who don't use our products even as well. So, the broader stakeholders of society, and think about if a company, and this could be any company, but think about a tech company like Apple who creates a new innovation, and then that innovation can be used in other areas, like maybe facial recognition technology they use when you open your phone. That same facial recognition technology can be used for identifying human traffickers, right, at border crossings and things like that. There are lots of applications, in other words, that new innovation can be used in a social context to help everybody, as opposed to just simply helping the company that innovated it and created it. I think often about the technology that Tesla has created with their batteries that go into cars. The leaps and bounds and the innovations that they have either paid for or developed themselves are amazing, and the applications of battery, like long-lasting batteries, can be used in many, 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 many different things, not just cars. So think of that contribution to society that some of these companies make, that go well beyond their products and kind of what they're doing. Okay, so look, as we go through here, here's a progress check. This is going to wrap up this video. Remember, as I mentioned before, write these down, pause the slide when you need to. Make sure you know and understand these progress check questions. They're all good questions that you'll see on tests. And plus, they're a good summary of what we're looking at. So purpose-led conscious marketing happens when a firm has a vision for its brand that is strategically aligned with socially grounded principles. The brand essentially becomes an activist for a purpose. So remember that. That's kind of a great way to think about purpose-led or conscious marketing activities. Purpose-led marketing suggests that the purpose of the firm is the dominant motivator for the firm. It's not profit, right? Or it's not a competitive thing, but the reason the firm or the brand exists is for a social purpose, and that social purpose is more important than the financial purpose. I'm not saying that a financial purpose doesn't exist. If it's an organization, you still have to pay people. You still have to, if it's for profit, you still have to make a profit for your owners. You can't avoid that. I mean, that is in essence, kind of what you do. But if it's a choice between making more money and following a social purpose, they'll choose a social purpose path first before making more money for the owners. Okay, and importantly, this whole idea affects all stakeholders. We looked at 4 broad groups of stakeholders, including employees, customers, society, and the marketplace as kind of different kind of ways to think about stakeholders. But all stakeholders, all organizations or people who have something to do with the company are going to be impacted by this purpose. So, all right, this is again a recap of talking about purpose or conscious-led marketing. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope you have a fantastic day, and take care.